How hard did you push it? Till I black out? Yes. Numerous times, yes.
What's happening, MuniciPals? This is Big Chris and Ashton. What's going on, buddy?
Good evening, sir. I am half dressed in my apartment. It is people not in the Bay Area, or really people not in San Francisco, don't get it. I mean, because if you look at the weather right now, you would think that I'm being super soft because it's like 65 degrees, but there's no airflow in the apartment at all. There's no AC. Also, for recording purposes, I turned the fan off. So I'm sitting here in like sleeping shorts, sweating. So, the things you do for podcasting, but yeah, can't complain about the weather. I mean, we'll talk about this, but played Callippe this weekend with some buddies, and it was like 82 degrees and it felt amazing. So it's just, I wouldn't mind if we had a little bit of airflow in here. So that's all. How about you? But your AC's broken. Not much better for you, huh?
Not great over here. AC broke before we had to go down to Bakersfield over the weekend for the wife's grandmother's 88th birthday. Congratulations, Mimi. I don't know if she tunes in, but who knows? Big fan. But yeah, it broke. So we put in a ticket today. Hopefully they're going to come tomorrow. Who knows? We don't have the greatest apartment complex, so they kind of decide when they want to come in. It's a little annoying and ridiculous, but it is what it is. We're glad to get out of here and going to Portland soon. But yeah, this week I got a little bit of a surprise. The wife was super awesome. On our way down to Bakersfield on Saturday, I didn't anticipate I was going to play at all. I did have the clubs in the car just in case. But on our way down, I was like, hey, would you mind if we made a slight detour? I've wanted to kind of see this golf course for a really long time. And she's like, yeah, no worries. And so I put in Dragonfly, which if you guys have listened to our podcast in the past, we talked about it on our second SoCal trip. That was something that we had to cancel because of my dumb ass. But so I got to get out there and see it. The first thing I see when I pull up to Dragonfly is this big banner that says U.S. Open qualifier coming the following Monday. So like, oh, that's pretty cool. Didn't expect that. So we drive into the parking lot. This place, driving in, really felt like Rustic Canyon. It very similar. It was a giant, it almost felt like an old quarry. Giant, like, didn't feel like a cliff. It definitely felt man-made, but a giant, like, rock face on your left-hand side. And then you're driving along, you see some of the back nine on your right-hand side, and then you run into a little bit of the back nine on your left-hand side when you come into the parking lot. And it's a really beautiful property, kind of a plantation-style clubhouse, a lot of, covering for people to stand under, because if anybody's been to Madera, Fresno, it is hot as hell out there, like 7 to 8 months out of the year. So they had a bunch of these giant like canopies over the putting green and everything to give people shade when they're wanting to practice and get in and out. And then there was a beautiful grass driving range that they had half covered for people to go out there and stand under shade while they hit balls as well. But that day we didn't get to play. We kind of just checked it out. I ended up picking up some merch, and while we were in there, my wife kind of says, well, why don't you see if they have a tee time on our way back on Sunday? And I didn't even question it. Of course, I walk right up to the counter and I ask them, hey, do you by any chance have a tee time around 3 o'clock? She says, we're wide open. All right, throw me on the tee sheet. $45 with the cart. 3 o'clock to play Dragonfly. On a weekend. I was blown away. I was like, all right, perfect. We'll see you at 3 o'clock on Sunday. Buy our merch, hook up Ash here with a visor. Of course, I could not pass that up and grab him one of those. Drive down to Bakersfield. Next morning, we have brunch with the family, head out. get out to Dragonfly. I get to warm up. If anybody knows anything about Dragonfly, this is the home course for the one and only U.S. Open champ and man of our intro, Bryson DeChambeau. So that he actually has invested a lot of money into this course. So over the last 2 or 3 years, they've really renovated it, expanded it a lot. So now they have these. So they have 1, 2, 4, 5. They have 7 sets of tees at this golf course. All from orange, which is before red, which I'd consider, I guess, for kids. Then they've got the ladies. You've got a combo set for ladies and for, I would assume, seniors. You've got your white tees, your blue tees, which is what I played from, which was about 6,700 yards. Still pretty deep for most golf courses. And this was still third up. The second up, which were the black tees, is 7,200. And the waybacks play at 77.98. The most ridiculous thing I've ever seen. On the 17th hole, the waybacks pushed to 701. Let me repeat that. 701 yard par 5. I couldn't even imagine. When we pulled up to the 17th hole, I just wanted to see where this tee box was. So we're walking off the green, and I asked the guy we're playing with, who plays there all the time. So I was glad to be paired up with this guy because he Sherpa'd me around the golf course and really directed me in the right way because I played really well. But we pull up we're walking off the 16 green, and I was like, hey, where's the wayback tee box for 17? And he literally points 10 feet off of the green on 16. He goes, that's it. My jaw drops, and I was like, are you kidding me? We haven't even gotten in our carts, and like the tee box is closer to us than the carts were. It was in the tee box that I played from on that same hole was 550. So you had an entire 151 yard difference between. I literally drove over a football field and a half to get to my tee from where we were. It was absurd. I don't know who plays the waybacks. We saw a lot of people, and you could tell there's groups of buddies out there that were challenging each other to, hit shots from there. But I asked the guy, I was like, how many people do you really see playing from the waybacks? And he's like, none, ever. I was shocked they even have them set up. He was like, I think it's the Bryson effect. You get a lot of people that hear that he has invested in the course. This is his home course when he does come back home. So there are people that come out here and want to test it out and see what they can do. But it was great. When we were checking in, they showed us what the U.S. Open sheet was going to be, or what the distances were going to be for the qualifier. They were playing 74.50. I mean, after playing this course and then hearing that distance, if the wind picks up, which it did during my round, it will be one of the most brutal rounds any of these guys have ever experienced from that distance. I would be shocked if you have if the winning score is anywhere under par. That's how difficult this course would be from that distance. But going back to what I experienced coming out to Dragonfly, it was an really incredible experience. One of probably my favorite new courses that I've been able to play over the last year. Playing Soul Park and playing Rustic Canyon, it kind of felt like you combined the two, because you had the waist bunkers and feel in the way that the fairways had undulations and hills and everything in them that kind of drew your balls in different areas. Felt very much like Rustic Canyon, where when you got into inland in some of the holes, you had some tree-lined areas. You had some really, risky shots where they had great tree placements right around the green. That became very much like Soul Park. And the greens reminded me more of Soul Park than they did of Rustic Canyon, where they were very large and undulating, but they weren't to the point where the fairway felt like it just rolled into the green and you really didn't see the change in between the two. You could definitely see the difference in cuts and everything between green and fairway, but the way I described it to you guys in the text when I reached out to you guys after I played it was, if you combine those two courses but kind of took the greens a step down, that was kind of it. But the way they had these greens set up, because they had them dialed for the US Open qualifier, they were rolling easily at a 12. It was some of the most difficult greens I've putted on in a long time, just because of how true and fast they were rolling. And since it was my first time there, I struggled a little bit with judgment of the line. My pace was really good, but the line was just, I was having issues really, really getting it on point. But the greens were just fantastic. And they had little blue dots on every green, which I guess the guy that I played with said he talked to the clubhouse and that was where they're going to put all the US Open qualifier pins. So we decided to go on every green, go around the green before we started putting and find the blue dot to kind of just visualize what the course was going to be setup wise. And man, they are going to have a ton. I really need to go on to the USGA website and see what everybody shot today, because it's probably brutal. I mean, if anybody is driving from the Bay Area or driving from anywhere up north down through into Southern California, absolutely recommend Dragonfly. With all of the waist bunkering and the undulations in the fairway, the different paths that you can pick off the tee, which really make you think on every hole. There's a lot of holes that you can take shortcuts if you hit it in the right spots. There's a lot of holes that you can kind of hit over trees and take a little bit more of a risky line, but you'll have a much better play coming into the green. There's so many different ways of playing this course, and with all of the different tee boxes that they have, I don't think I could ever get bored playing this course. Like every time I'd go out, I'd play a different tee box or create my own tee box and play, maybe, alternate between 3 tee boxes on every hole and go blue, white, gold. And just, every 3 holes change which tee box I go. I mean, you could have endless fun out here. And their practice facility was really good too. I don't think I could say anything bad about Dragonfly, especially with the rate that I paid, $45 with the cart. They didn't charge me spectator fee to have my wife come out and ride with me in the cart either. So it was just $45, which anytime I've ever brought my wife out, they've always charged me $15 or $20 to have her in the cart, which I'm okay with. If that's the way it is, it's the way it is. But I thought that was spectacular. They were just like, yep, go out there, have a good time, enjoy. I mean, it was an absolute, gem. I don't know many people that know about Dragonfly. I sure have not heard about it from many people. I kind of found it through my research when we were doing some of our trips. And that's the only reason I really know about it. So if anybody has not heard about it, please make the effort to go out there, because it might be one of the best courses within a 3-hour radius of the Bay Area. if I'm going to be completely honest.
Big C, that sounds like a lot of good takes. I can tell you in real time that you've had one really bad take, and it's probably going to make you be pretty shocked. So the quote from the guy who was the low medalist said, quote, "I'm really happy today. I mean, I played really solid all day," said Lee, who opened his day with 4 straight birdies. "It was really stress-free, drove the ball well, had control of my irons, and made a couple putts, so really happy with the round." He shot a 7 under 66 today to take low medalist honors.
Lee, props to you, my guy. I mean, the course that I played yesterday, I shot a respectable 82. First time I ever saw the course. I can't speak on Lee. He might have got out there, got some practice rounds in. It might even be his home course because it is a local qualifier. So he might be dialed in. That might be his track. But hey, golf clap for Lee. That is an incredible score from what I saw yesterday.
So it looks like he let me get his full name. Oh, come on, Lee. Ashton, come on. Alex Lee. He it says he was a former Fresno State guy. He played at Fresno State from 2015 to 2019.
Local boy.
Twice completed in the NCAA regionals in 2018 and 2019. And it looks like he's getting ready for Korn Ferry Tour qualifying school. So,
hey, we got to keep an eye out for Alex Lee.
Yeah, it says, and also another Fresno State guy, Kevin Huff, also advanced as he posted a 5 under 68 and finished in a 4-way tie for second. So, man, those guys, again, I'm not ripping you
off. No, but those guys lit that course on fire. I mean, hey, all power to them. From what I experienced, it was a tough track. But that was also my first time experiencing it. It was a local qualifier. Like you said, 2 of them were Fresno State guys. So, I mean, it is their backyard. That is probably a track they play on a regular basis. So, who knows? I might get a little bit better if I get out there a few more times. Well, you never know. But
what are the important? Well, 2 questions. One, when we talked about playing there last time, our goal was to play there, play the way back tees, and break 90. Do you think based off the fact that you shot 82, my guess is the answer is you can't do it? No.
No. No. I mean, like I said, on 17, I'll put money on it. I would literally put $20 on every single one of our foursome that nobody hits the fairway.
Is that tight?
It's that tight, and it's also that far away. Like, you have to hit a 260, 270 carry, dead straight, to be able to hit the fairway.
Wow.
Then you're still gonna have 400 in on your second shot.
Wow. Yeah, that's a fair point. So I'm curious, obviously that hole sounds fun, but also maybe Mickey Mouse. Was there a specific hole that really stuck out to you, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, there was a few. I would say of all the holes, there is and it's going to completely not come back correctly on me. It was 9. So 9 comes back towards the clubhouse along that big wall, sand rock wall. And that's what reminded me the most of Rustic, is kind of like 13, where it runs right along the trail and then the big cliff and everything. Very, very much that vibe, but you're right up against it. And there's a big waste bunker where they have wood planks that run along the wall that kind of make a really cool Pinehursty vibe to it. Because of there's a little walkway in, it's a little wood walkway that goes into it, and the wood planks that go along the wall. And it's a really fun, interesting little par 4. It's, from where I was playing, it was 427 yards, very gettable, but it's very narrow. So I hit a 3 wood to 3 wood, and I got within 15 yards off the left side of the green, chipped over a bunker. The greens, like I said, were rolling so quick, didn't check on me, blew it right into the bunker next to where all the wood planks were.
Wow.
And guess good photo op. My wife got a great photo of me hitting a bunker shot out of there. Hit it to within like 10 feet and then putted it in for a bogey. But still a really, really fun hole. That in picturesque, gorgeous picturesque hole. And then I would say number 12, the par 3, was really cool because it is a little bit longer, I guess, from blacks. Not really long. It's 180 from blues, 200 from black. But it's really cool because you have to hit over water. And there's a they kind of have this like natural like wheat looking fescue that runs throughout the entire course. So it's very like middle of the country, like middle America. If I could say that, like, it's almost very like Sand Valley or Erin Hills-esque, where the person I was playing with told me it's very green when you come out through December through April, and then it browns out over the summer. But it's kind of, if you remember that video of Kevin Na, when they had the U.S. Open at Erin Hills, and he's bitching and fucking moaning about like, oh my God, I can't get my ball out of here. This is ridiculous. I can't get it out of here. And it's a 410-yard par 4. It's like, my guy, it's already a really short and easy hole for you guys. I mean, and you're bitching and moaning about the rough. And the rough you were in is 30 yards offline. So if you're hitting in there, then you're not going to win the tournament anyways. But really, really cool fescue. The water features were great as well out there. To be honest, 17 from where I was hitting at 550, it made it a really intriguing and cool hole. So extremely narrow fairway, tree lined on the right-hand side of it. The fairway kind of dips right and then goes around these trees like that are bunched in the left with a bunker in front of it. And then, or not in front of it, right behind it. And then the fairway comes back around and then goes straight towards the green. And so where I hit it right behind the trees, but I was just far enough left where my shot plane is a right to left, kind of fade in. And so I faded it right around those trees to about 10 yards off the green to hit my, chip on for eagle, put it in for birdie. It was a great hole. And I birdied 17, 18. And 18, for being how brutal 17 is, they kind of mind fuck you with 18 because it's so easy. But I bet you for a lot of players, after you get beat to shit on 17, you probably get up to 18 and you guess there's got to be some trick to it. Because there's kind of like hidden hills and undulations and kind of a few hidden bunkers. So, but if you hit 250 on your drive, you're pretty much, and it's wide open left to right. I mean, it's like 200 yards left to right. Giant fairway. But I'm sure with what you just experienced on 17, 18 mind fucks you and just destroys a lot of players. But very gettable par 5. I mean, 462 par 5. I mean, I was on in 2, no issue, putted for eagle, missed it about 3 feet, and then hit my birdie. But I mean, I can't say anything, bad about the golf course. I would say the only thing bad was the hot dog. So me and my wife got some lunch before we went out. My wife got the burger. I got the hot dog. Oh, golf courses. Stop filleting your hot dogs. Stop it. It's not the best way to do it. Don't do it. Get yourself, I'd rather you get a warmer and just throw them in a warmer. I mean, filleting a hot dog is horrible. So flayed a hot dog. Another thing I don't really like is when they put olive oil or butter on the bun and then toast it on the. It's just an added. I don't need an extra buttery bun. Like just give me a warmed bun. I don't need it toasted or anything. So they toasted it, made it a little extra buttery, filleted it. One added thing is I do love some shredded cheese occasionally on my hot dog. Bonus. They went from a 4 to a 5.5 just because of shredded cheese. But their hot dog without shredded cheese was a solid 4 out of 10. With cheese, bumped it up to a 5.5 because rarely does golf courses have cheese for the dogs. But that was the only thing I could say out of the entire, thing that they were lacking. Their merch was really good. I got you a really sick visor, myself a really nice hat. Their logo is sick too. Very basic, just with a cool, illustration of Dragonfly and block letters on top. Very simple, classic, goes well for the area. And again, the clubhouse, amenities, everything. The cart girl was on point. We saw her 4 times in our round. She was on it. You could call the clubhouse at any time, and they would come and deliver you food and drinks to your hole at any time of your round, which I thought was just a classy move. And on the turn, they had a nice girl that was sitting there in this little hut gazebo, making mixed drinks, serving drinks, very much the Mr. Worldwide vibes going on at the turn. Digging that. Terra-Lago, we got you. Other courses are catching you guys, though. They're catching on. You got to have these, fun turn situations for people. Make it quick and easy. She was there. She was on point. She made it quick. We got back on the tee, went off. That's how it should be. You shouldn't have to run into the clubhouse, do all this stuff. They should have something set up right there. Nice and easy, quick. And so, yeah, I can't say anything bad about Dragonfly. It was absolutely a wonderful experience. Anybody that's heading that way, please give them a try.
Very cool, man. I know that it won't match up with your schedule, but I'll make sure to get out there hopefully later this summer, probably do a 36-hole loop. But the way you've described it makes it sound super appealing. I also played a new course, a course that has been hyped up a lot. I played Callippe Preserve in Pleasanton for the first time and had a very similar reaction to you. Really, really enjoyed it. So for listeners not based in the Bay, Pleasanton, I think it's 40 miles from San Francisco. So in the morning, no traffic. It took me like 40 minutes. One thing I'll talk about that's just a personal gripe is the drive home. Man, oh man, I got boned pretty hard. But in the morning, 40 minutes. And Chris, it was funny when I pulled in, like you kind of pulling through a neighborhood. Like it's one of those where you get what it feels like to the course and your GPS still says like 10 minutes. And I was like, this is kind of weird. I pulled in and kind of saw the course and the kind of how it was laid out and the houses up in the hills. And I was like, oh, so it's like Muni, potentially better Rams Hill. And honestly, that's kind of how I felt. Like it wasn't as fuzzy with like the water fixtures and like it wasn't like bright green, but I would say that it felt kind of like the Muni version of Rams Hill in a way that I really, really enjoyed. So it was $68 to walk. So I would say that's probably a bit more on the pricey end, but I feel like worth every penny. We actually teed off a little early. I got to the tee box shockingly because I was a little early to the tee time. Not much early. Still didn't hit any balls, but got there a little bit early. And yeah, we teed off a little bit early. The biggest thing I would tell people about Callippe is if you don't have a Sherpa with you the first time you play, you're going to shoot 5 to 10 shots over whatever you're going to shoot. Like I played pretty well. I shot 81 and made 2 doubles. Like I made a couple birdies, had a lot of looks at birdies. It could have been a lot better than it was, but I had Jack, producer Jack and Hussey just like guiding me around. We're like, hit it here. Don't hit this club. Not a driver. Don't hit this. Don't hit this. In a way that like I probably would have shot 90 if I was there by myself, just because I wouldn't have known. But I think Callippe, the biggest thing I got to say is I loved the greens. I would go so far as to say that they're potentially some of my favorite greens I've ever played on a municipal golf course. Like it's not necessarily fair to compare them. Like it's kind of like I felt the Soul part where the greens are fast, but not too fast. Cause I mean, I'm fine to play fast greens once in a while, but it was just felt a very kind of accessible green speed. They broke more than you thought. So like, if you hit it in kind of the wrong spot or you're on a kind of a side hill, you're going to be playing 3 feet of break. The ball's going to be falling on the side of the hole in a way that felt really enjoyable. I also did notice a lot of pitch marks, like people like seem to be actually fixing their ball marks. And again, a course that I think like is one of those where I always love a course where like, we're on hole 12 and I'm like, man, like I wish I could double loop this, like I already can't wait to get back out here now that I've got some institutional knowledge and certain stuff. This isn't like to dunk on them, but certain stuff where they made suggestions where they're like, don't hit driver. I'm like, I think the play is actually probably a driver, but that's the fun of the course to go back, right? To be like, maybe they're right, maybe they're not, but now I get to hit driver and see what I think. So a really, really good time. And also too, living in San Francisco, really nice to go to Pleasanton where it's, I would say probably 20 degrees warmer than it usually is in San Francisco. So really nice to get some actual sun. They had a really nice facility to your point about being accessible. They had a big kind of bar and area to eat with people kind of getting food to go. Right at the turn. So like right by 1 and kind of right by 10, the food's all right there, super quick. So just had a really, really great time. And again, I love a course that like some people, I think if I was to go play there by myself, I might've been like, you know what, that felt tricked out, but that institutional knowledge makes a really big difference. So I think that, good pace of play, relatively speaking, good greens, kind of everything we want. The one thing that I do want to call it that I thought was a bit strange is the pace of play wasn't bad, but it was really inconsistent, which was weird. Like, again, our tee time was 8:29. I get up to the tee at like probably 8:19, and the groups ahead of us was probably like, I was almost on the green. And the guy was like, oh, it's your tee box. And I was like, oh, like my guys are still on the range. Like, it was just kind of weird. Like there was people like on the green and I guess maybe a tee time got skipped. I don't know. It feels hard to believe that a tee time in the Bay Area would get skipped on a Saturday morning, but then we caught up. So the guys were a hole ahead of us and we caught up to them on number 5, which clearly the group ahead of them, it was the group ahead of them, not them, was playing slow. They picked it up on the back and the people behind us, we were joking, were like, must have been taking a nap on the course. Like they were legitimately like 2 solid holes behind us all day. So basically like we had a very leisurely walk because like we weren't getting pushed and also, but it was kind of a bit inconsistent. So just interesting because the marshal, was talking a lot about playing ready golf. And at the turn, again, we've been pushing the group ahead of us. He's like, good job, keep pressing. Like it's kind of like Formula One, like box, like P1. The guy kind of felt like he was like a Formula One, like captain. That's not the terminology, but hey, I'm new to Formula One. Be polite. But yeah, just a great time and can't wait to get back out there. So I've heard a lot of really good things about Callippe. But super eager to get back out there because definitely a little tricked up and in a way that I thought was super, super fun. Like number 18, you like hit a hybrid, but you cannot hit it past kind of the center part of the fairway. And then I asked the marshal for some institutional knowledge and he goes, oh yeah, he's like, hit it at the bunker because you have to fly it over this kind of the shit. He's like, hit it at the bunker, else you're going to blow it into the shit on the right. But then I did that. And then I had to like carry a tree. So like, it's like I hit hybrid 6-iron pitching wedge. And like, it's just this very disorienting hole and then like a pretty tough green as well. So great time. And again, I don't think Callippe is like hiding from anybody. Like I know Dragonfly, to your point, most people don't know. I think a lot of people know about Callippe, but if you can get out there, like it's great. But the one kind of caveat is I think I'm learning now. I need to be careful with, for me, East Bay tee times when I have plans after, because there was a huge wreck on 580 going towards Sacramento. Like I think 2 tractor trailers had hit each other. and it took me close to 2 hours to get home. And that was kind of a buzzkill, especially because I had a buddy in town. I told him I was going to be home, and he was cool with it because he decided to come. I already had these plans. I told him like 1, and then it was 2, and then it was 3. I didn't meet up with him till like 4:30. I felt I've got a friend in town. I'm stuck in like literally not moving traffic. That's like not even my traffic. It's traffic trying to go to Sacramento, but just trying to be mindful for all the San Francisco based golfers. Like just think about before taking an East Bay tee time when you got plans. Like maybe that day stick to the Presidio, or it's going to be 10 minutes home. But great day, can't wait to get back out there.
That's the one bad thing with the Bay Area is anytime on the weekend, anytime past 12, it could be no traffic to hours of backed up traffic. And if it's weekday, good luck from 3 to 7 o'clock trying to get anywhere. It's just impossible. Unless you're already in your area, it's just going to be an absolute disaster. That's the only downfall in the Bay Area. That's one reason I'm excited about getting back to Portland, because it's a very short amount of traffic that goes on there. But if one of the bridges are closed down out in Portland, it's kind of the same issue. So, whatever metropolitan city you live in, you kind of always have to deal with something like, around that aspect. So not always the best, but I'm glad you enjoyed it out there, because I absolutely love that track as well. It's definitely well known in the Bay Area. I would say Callippe, most people that live in the South Bay or East Bay know about it or played it, and would say it's high up on their list as well. It's in that area when you have Poppy Ridge, Callippe, and Wente as kind of your 3, Livermore, Pleasanton tracks that are probably the best 3. I'd say that's your best bang for your buck, because Poppy is going to be very expensive. It's 3 9s that they rotate every day. So that's the one cool thing. If you go out to Poppy Ridge, it is a rotating 3 9s, so 27. So you'll play a different routing every time you go out there, which can be cool, but they also charge a substantial amount. I mean, you're right at about $100 walking when you go out to Poppy. And then Wente is not a private, but it's like a resort, semi-private style course, and they charge the public pretty hefty. If you're smart, the best time is to book a tee time after 3 o'clock when the days run long like they do now, because you can usually get in there between $69 and $89, and that's with a cart. Wente is not a course you want to play without a cart. It is really spread out, super hilly. I mean, they bring you way up on top of these hills to hit some of these tee shots. You really don't want to walk it. But if you go and play on a weekend, it can be $189 to play. Yeah. So weekdays, if you can get out there weekdays after 3 o'clock, probably the only time I'd recommend getting out there, because my opinion, Wente is not worth anywhere near $189. So that's why Callippe is such a good bang for buck, because it is a really great course, but then you're also under $80 with a cart on a weekend.
Yeah. And the other thing to call out too is, I think the one thing I really appreciated, we played 1 tee up, I think 6,400 yards, a real diversity of holes. I mean, Hussey and Jack told me that the Calippe's real defense is the wind, and it wasn't really blowing until the back 9, but the back 9 is also harder than the front 9. But I'll give you an example. I actually can't tell if it's a good hole or not, but I liked it, was number 10. They told me to hit hybrid because you can get dicey with your driver. I think, with context, as long as you hit your driver right.
That's a downhill par 4?
Yeah. So I hit a good hybrid right down the middle, my 230-yard club. Then I clicked it and I looked at them and I was like, wait, no. And they're like, what? I'm like, it's not 204 to the flag. They're like, oh, no, it's 204 to the flag. And I was like, what the fuck? So like, and the wind was in my face. So I hit my like 215-yard hybrid and like roasted it and hit it to like 15 feet past the hole. And it's one of those where like there was that hole, you know, which I mean, again, you can get really cute with your driver and have less in. Like Jack had a really good 3-wood and I think had like I don't know, but he had an iron in his hand. But then I think there are some holes that, you know, like actually one of my double bogeys, actually both of my double bogeys were like 300, like very, very short par fours where like one of them, I just thought I could hit my 230-yard hybrid. I clicked the top of the bunker and I thought I could fly it and the wind picked up and I hit it in the bunker and then barely got it out and then hit it on and 3-putted and made double on like a pretty easy looking hole. But again, the wind just like devoured my golf ball and left me kind of a less than advantageous spot. But I just think that's cool. Like it's cool to have par fours where it's like you're going to hit hybrid and like you have to execute 2 excellent shots. And there are some holes where it's like, dude, I probably should have hit like a 6-iron and a pitching wedge on the other hole. And, you know, but then there's also like number 2, 3, the first par 5 on the front. Dude, I fucking roasted my driver. I had driver hybrid wedge. I mean, like it was like a long uphill par 5. So just to have all of those options is, I think, really, really cool. Like, cause I just get bored where it's like, it's another 350-yard par 4, another 350-yard par 4, 350-yard par 4. It really makes you hit kind of all the clubs in your bag. And that's just fun, especially for a Saturday round, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's what you're looking for. You want to go when you go out and play a new course, you want the course to make you want to come back. And that's something Callippe does. It's always a course that I finish and I can jump on and play another 18. Anytime you feel that way, I think you got a winner on your hands. And when the rates are the way they are and conditions are the way they are, I mean, everything comes together to make a true gem, and that's for sure Callippe. What do you have planned coming up this week?
Well, I'm going on a bit of a travel kick. So I know we won't really talk about this too much because this will be coming out after Wednesday, the day before this post. You and I are both going to Golden Gate Park. You're going to be there before me, but that'll be really, really fun. This weekend, Liz and I are going down to San Diego. My birthday is on Sunday. So we're going down to San Diego because my buddy Nick, former couple episodes guest, they just moved there. Actually, big shout out to them. They just had an offer accepted on a house. So the second house they tried to buy, they got. So big shout out to them for that. Super exciting. We're going down there. So I'm going to try to play some golf with Nick, just one round, just because, you know, we love playing golf together. But I think the thing I'm even more excited about is Sunday morning. I think Nick booked at 9 a.m. Nick's wife, her name is Kat, me, Nick, Kat, and Liz, we're going to go play a pitch and putt, which will be, I've actually never played an actual pitch and putt. We're just going to, you know, I think bring some morning beers. It'll be my actual birthday, so it'll be a good excuse for a morning beer. So hopefully one round with Nick at some point. It's somewhere in San Diego. We're hoping for Balboa Park, but Nick's not he's not a resident yet, so he doesn't get access to the good tee times till they're pretty much gone, which is kind of a bummer. I mean, I like them giving preferential treatment, but you know, he just doesn't have access yet. And then a little pitch and putt with the girls. So should be a great weekend. And the next weekend, no golf for me because we're up actually in Oregon for a wedding. And then the next week is, I think it's 11 rounds in 8 days, with most of them with you. So yeah. I'm okay to kind of pump the brakes a little bit because it's gonna be like a run.
Coming in hot.
It's coming in hot. Yeah, a lot of time with me and you know. I was doing a golf trip, like half naked Big C. There's going to be a lot of that in my life, and I cannot wait. I mean, I'm half naked now. That's what we do.
It's what we do, guys. So yeah, this week, naked podcast. So this week, I am playing I have a sick little day planned out on Wednesday. So I'm going out early in the morning to play with our boy Tucker and our buddy Juan. We're gonna hit, since Juan is mayor of Lincoln, he's gonna host me out at the mayor's house. So we're gonna go play Lincoln in the morning, I'm excited about that because I haven't played Lincoln in the morning before. I've actually only played afternoon rounds there. So I'm hoping that I get Carl. I hope he's hanging out. Yeah, I hope Carl the Fog's kicking it. One of my favorite things, a lot of people don't like it, but I actually really enjoy playing in the fog. Yep. I mean, it's one of my favorite things. Sorry, Ashton just showed me a picture of him playing Lincoln in the fog.
Great for the podcast. Great for the podcast. Just showing pictures to each other while we're actually speaking to people. But playing in the fog in the city is its own experience. And every time I play in the city, I prefer it just because I don't ever get that experience when I play other places. So I actually really enjoy that. So I'm hoping Carl's kicking it at Lincoln. And then after that, I'm basically heading over to Golden Gate Park. Juan's going to join me until he has to peace out at 5. And then we have a couple other viewers that are going to be, or listeners that are going to be joining us as well. And I'll be posting it on Instagram. I know this is going to be coming out after that, but I hope we get some more people coming out. And then Ashton, after he gets off work, he's going to come join me at Golden Gate Park as well. And Golden Gate is, like I've said in the past, it's actually, I would put it as one of my top 2 courses in San Francisco. I just absolutely love it. I love the guys that run it. I love the area that it's in. I love how laid back it is. If I lived anywhere near it, I would be there every single day after work. It is just it's an experience you're not going to have in any other city, because no city is going to put a little short course in the middle in where this property is. It's just awesome. So if you ever get a chance in the city, please again check out Golden Gate Park. So I'm stoked, really excited. I'm going to loop that until it's too dark to see a ball. And then over the weekend on Sunday, I'm actually heading out to Monterey. And our boy Kai invited me out to play Carmel Valley Ranch. So I'm really excited for that. And I think I'm going to get out and play Del Monte as well. One of the only Pebble Beach courses that I experienced a long time ago, don't remember a lot. So I'm really excited to kind of get out there and have a little bit of a refresher. So really excited for that. And I think one of the guys from RGC, Fabian, is going to be joining me as well. So, that's going to be a good time out there. So I'm really excited for this week. It's getting down to it where, I'm unfortunately going to have to slow down the amount of rounds I play after this week, just because I have to, start packing up and doing a lot of other things. So this is kind of the last week I'm going to be putting in a lot of rounds, but still going to try to get a round or 2 in per week after this. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm going to miss you, but I'm excited to get out to Portland. Like I've said many times in the pod, it's going to be great. And so we also have a new segment that's going to be starting here soon. I'm going to announce it tonight. A little shock to Ashton, but something that I've had in the works and been trying to plan out for a while. We are going to start a segment where we're literally going to start finding the cheapest flights that we possibly can to cities around the country. And then we are going to do weekend trips, Friday to Sunday, fly out to these cities, and we are going to get in at least 3 rounds at 3 different courses while we're out there over the weekend. And then have podcast episodes for you guys, and hopefully we'll have a lot of footage and things to be shared through social media as well. So it's another series that we're really excited to get kickstarted, something that we're hoping is going to intrigue our listeners to kind of go out and experience themselves. And our thing is, if you guys ever want to, you can hit us up. I would love to share how I go about planning these things, how I find these flights and these
these golf courses and things like that. And then we're also going to start posting online about the itineraries that we do and the gems in different cities and locations and states and things, and build that over time throughout our entire journey through MuniciPals and us doing these travel series. So really, really, really excited for that. It's going to be a freaking blast. And we're hoping that we get, different guests to join us on a lot of these trips as well and mix it up and to really get these experiences and get to, do these things with a whole different variety of people. And I can't say how juiced I am about it. So
I'm super stoked, and I mean, it wouldn't be being your friend if I wasn't surprised by something. And this is a good surprise. The surprise I received in the past is like, hey, when did you buy your ticket coming up from Portland? And I'm like, this is kind of douche work speak, but I'm like, per the text thread, the 13th. Oh, I decided the trip's a week sooner. Oh, didn't know that till right now. Like, that's the kind of surprise. Well, again, actually, you saved me $10, so it worked out great. But
it did, and your
those
first
are
class.
Usually the surprises I get, or it's like I'm, morning of Rams Hill, waking up super excited, and I get like, half naked Big C's like telling me that he ate too many peach rings and his tooth fall out. That's not a great surprise. Not because I don't love seeing your you in your boxers, but more because those you almost swallowed your tooth. So this is a pleasant surprise that I'm happy to be receiving.
Yes, and I'm excited for it. So keep your ears peeled for that. Keep your eyes peeled for that as well on our social media.
Well said.
And it's gonna be a sick little journey that we're gonna be going on here. So, Ashton, you got anything else?
I don't, man. We're again, just want to thank everybody for the support. We've had people buying hats right and left, and it's going to be really fun to see those MuniciPals hats out there in the wild. So just thank you guys for the support. And I don't know, like going and having this experience like Callippe, even though I was angry to be sitting in the car, it's just like, I just had those moments thinking like, 3 new guys who I never knew 6 months ago, a golf course, like public golf is the best. And just really glad to be doing this with you, Big C, and to have people, the support from people who just love public golf, right? It's just, it's really invigorating and just feel lucky to be a part of it.
Well spoken. Same here. I am in the same boat as you. Without that, I would have never met you. We wouldn't have this journey that we're going on. I mean, it's the passion I've always had inside, didn't know how to express it. And with these meetings, it's a blessing, definitely. So,
yes, sir.
If anybody is interested in any of our MuniciPal hats, you can see what they look like on our social media on Instagram. We have a few left. We're getting down to the last few here. So please DM me if you'd like to purchase one. We can then send you, our Venmo information, and I can get one mailed out to you. Or if you're local in the Bay Area, you might even be able to get me to hand deliver it to you. Who knows? But all right, guys, that's it for tonight. Thank you, guys. Peace. Have a good one.